The thunder cracked overhead as the boy ran through the village, the dry earth beneath his bare feet cracking with every step. Smoke rose from the thatched roofs, carried by a bitter wind that smelled of ash and rot. Children lay coughing in their huts. Livestock were thin and weak. The boy's heart pounded in his chest, not from exertion, but from fear. Not his own fear, he was used to that, but the fear of what the elders would demand tonight. He skidded to a stop in the village square. The elders were already gathered under the old stone archway, their faces shadowed by the flickering firelight. A hush fell over the villagers as the chief stepped forward, his voice heavy with ceremony. "The spirits have chosen," he said, and all eyes fell on the boy. The boy froze. Chosen? His throat went dry. Whispers rose behind him. "No one ever comes back. No one." The words wrapped around him like cold chains. Yet his legs carried him forward, and he bowed. I will do it," he said, his voice shaking. The villagers cheered, their relief mingled with awe. Mothers clutched their children, hoping this mission would save them. But in the shadows, the boy caught the smirk of an elder, one who muttered under his breath, "He won't return." He didn't know the truth yet. Later that night, in a small hut, the boy packed a satchel. He shoved in a loaf of bread, a small water skin, and a knife duller than it should have been. An older boy, a friend who had always laughed at him, approached. "Are you really going in there?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "I have to," the boy said. "They say the egg will save the village." His eyes shone with the naive hope of a child who had never been truly chosen for anything before. The friend shook his head. "Don't let them fool you. They never let anyone come back. You're just the next in line." The boy swallowed hard. "Then I'll prove them wrong." A laugh escaped the friend, bitter and hollow. "You can try. God help you." The forest waited beyond the village border like a living wall of shadows. Its trees twisted upward, clawing at the sky. A gust of wind carried whispers, almost like voices, calling his name. He hesitated. The villagers' faces flickered in his mind, pleading, expectant. A part of him ached to turn back, to run home and hide. But he could not. He had been chosen. He had to move forward. Step by step, he entered the forest. The air changed immediately. It was heavier, thick with a scent he could not name. The moonlight barely penetrated the canopy, and shadows danced across the ground, making him jump at every movement. Bones cracked under his feet, leaves rustled with imagined predators, and somewhere in the distance, an owl hooted. He swallowed his fear, reminding himself that he could not stop. Hours passed, and the forest grew darker, denser. He stumbled upon what he first thought was a tree root, but as he drew closer, he realized it was a skeleton wearing a necklace, the same design the villagers wore. His stomach churned. "So many like me." He pressed forward despite the nausea twisting his gut. Suddenly, a rustle came from the shadows. His knife was in his hand before he could think. A figure emerged, tall, shrouded in black mist, with eyes glowing faintly orange. The boy froze. The creature growled low, a sound that vibrated in his chest, yet it did not move closer. "Who dares enter my forest?" The voice echoed, not human, but neither entirely animal. The boy's mouth went dry. He stammered, I was sent by my village to get the egg." The creature tilted its head, watching him. "They sent a boy to die." Its words were calm, almost sorrowful. "They always do." Fear gripped him, twisting his heart. I need to save them," he whispered. They are dying." The creature's gaze softened. "They are dying because they forgot the old promises. Because they cheated the forest, thinking they could take without giving." The boy's hands shook. "The egg! It's supposed to save them." The creature stepped closer, revealing a massive form. Its scales glimmered faintly under the moonlight. "The egg is mine," it said. "My heart. To take it is to bind the life of the forest to your village again, as they demanded. But they lied to you, boy. They never intended for anyone to return alive. The boy dropped to his knees, shaking. Rage and fear mixed with disbelief. They chose me. I was supposed to help them. They chose a life they no longer valued. You were expendable. The creature replied, voice gentle but carrying the weight of centuries. This is your chance to choose differently. The boy's mind raced. Images of coughing children, of the elders' smirks, of the bones he had seen, flashed before him. They never cared. They used me. His knuckles whitened around the knife handle. For the first time in his life, he felt the stirrings of courage born not from duty, but from defiance. What should I do? He asked. The creature's glowing eyes met his. You can take the egg and save them if they deserve saving. Or you can refuse and let the forest reclaim what they tried to cheat. Then, you can live. Tears burned his eyes. I've always done what they told me, he said, voice breaking. I've always been nothing. But I'm not nothing. He rose, trembling but steadying himself. I refuse. The forest seemed to exhale, and the shadows lifted slightly. Roots writhed across the forest floor, rising to reclaim the land. The boy watched from the trees as tendrils of earth surged toward the village, tearing through huts, swallowing the elders who had conspired in silence. Cries rang out, and then a tense silence fell. The boy's chest heaved. He looked down at his hands. Still small, still trembling, but alive. For the first time he felt power not over others but over himself. The forest guardian lowered its massive head. You chose wisely, it said. Go and live. He turned to leave but paused. What about everything else? He asked, voice quiet. The forest will heal. They will learn what it means to honor life, the guardian said. And you? It paused, eyes glowing brighter for a moment. You will be remembered by the forest, not the village. The boy walked through the shadows, his heart pounding not with fear, but with the thrill of survival. Behind him, the forest reclaimed what was owed, cleansing the land. The wind carried the whispers of those long gone, and for the first time he felt a strange comfort. He had survived the impossible. By dawn, he emerged on the far side of the forest. The village was no more. Smoke still curled from some ruins, but the earth was already sprouting new green shoots. He walked forward, unafraid, unburdened, and free. The forest behind him shimmered faintly, the guardian watching, and he knew that though he had been sent to die, he had returned with life that was his own. The boy paused and looked toward the horizon, where the sun began to rise. A faint glow lingered in his eyes, not of magic, but of courage, of choices made under fear, of a life reclaimed. He knew one thing. He would never let anyone decide his worth again. As he walked into the light, he felt an unfamiliar urge, one he had never had before. One for others to know the story, to remember the truth. He whispered to himself, if you've watched this far, remember, never let anyone send you to die. Stand, fight, live. If you feel the courage of this boy, don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more stories like this. Who knows? Maybe you'll be inspired to face your own evil forest. The wind carried a final whisper through the trees. They sent a boy to die, but something stronger came back. And with that, the forest grew silent, holding its secrets until the next time someone dared to enter.